Hey guys, so it's another episode of Forbidden Love. And for me, the episodes was a little light in my opinion. Not a lot of big things that happened. Linza and Chris, to me, it's just more of the same. He picks her up from the airport. They seem very serious about each other, which is a wonderful thing. She says mashallah, which I think is a term used for Muslims. And I'm going to have to either put in the comments and let you guys know what that means. Well, I just looked it up. I paused it, Googled. Mashallah means God willed it in Arabic. And it's a common saying among Muslims. But she says that after she says her man looks good. So she's like, God willed it. To me, I also feel like it's similar to saying God is good and just thanking God for a good looking man or thanking God for some good stuff in life. That's how I liken it, but that's my interpretation. So they do make a beautiful couple, but they talk about they having two different religions, the difficulty with that, and with having kids. They both want each of each other to convert. She seems a little more adamant about it than he does. Right now he's kind of open, but he doesn't look like he's trying to give up his Christian faith anytime soon. But she definitely wants him to convert as the leader of their house. He's going to be moving to her city, I think in Grand Rapids. He lives currently in Cincinnati, which is where she's visiting. This is all my home turf. Even though I'm not out and about as much as I could be, don't know everything about my city, my state. I was born in one and I live in the other. State-wise, I don't live in Grand Rapids, but I hail from the Michigan area. So I'm familiar with this area that they're transitioning to and what it may be like. So they're going to meet up with the parents. This isn't her first time meeting the parents. They basically said, you're going to hell without Jesus, when she talked to him the first time. So that was a great introduction. They do a prayer, a blessing before their meal, and then they get into a whole argument about their faith and belief system. She's like, I barely even get into 3 bites of my food. They are having this amazing baked chicken, macaroni and cheese, soul food meal. Mama does look like she can put her toe in it. Those people of African American descent know what I mean by that. Just looks delicious, basically. But they're not eating right now because he's talking about Jesus. He's like, well, she says after they pray, she adds a short prayer at the end, saying something about Allah. And I think it's just really referencing just thanking God for the food. But he starts asking, well, is Jesus a part of any of your prayers and all of that? And she's like, no. So they're kind of arguing about this before they can get into the meal and grub. Then he starts speaking in tongues, and Linza has her thoughts about people speaking in tongues, and she's kind of berating it, saying it sounds like gibberish. She's like, if you're going to say something in a different language, we should know what you're saying. It's weird. And for those that know the Bible, because we talk faith, love, and trends here, the Bible does talk about interpreting tongues, and there really should be an interpreter when you speak in tongues. But, I respect the tongues. I'm a Christian, person of faith. I've been connected with many different denominations, and there has been an issue about speaking in tongues. Some people believe that you should. Some people believe that you shouldn't. Some people believe that you must. Some people believe you don't have to. So there's different belief systems when it comes to speaking in tongues. But on her side, as a Muslim, she's like, it just sounds like noise to her. I think that's disrespectful to say on somebody else's belief system, but she's got her thoughts, and I guess she's like, they have theirs when it comes to them not believing in supporting the fact that Jesus is the Son of God. And I worked with someone that's Muslim. I think I may have also just done a little research myself. I actually had a close family member that was married to someone that was Muslim. So I learned a little bit, not very close or tight knit, but I learned some of it as far as the fact that their belief system in Jesus. Also was dating with someone that talked about converting in the past and was thinking about doing it again. So I've had some Muslim connections here and there in my life, and I do know that Jesus is considered a prophet, but he's not a part of any of their prayers. He's not seen as a Messiah or the Son of God. And she's like, that doesn't make any sense. God doesn't have children. He's not human. So definitely here's no Son of God. So they ask about, the family's kind of worried about the scenario, and they actually asked Linsa at the table, what does her family think? Will they stop her from marrying Chris because he's not Muslim as well? And she's like, well, I don't know. I haven't told my family. So we have another scenario, which we do hear a lot on 90 Day, about family not knowing about the other person. And I'm sorry guys, if I didn't explain what this show is about, it's again called Forbidden Love, and it's couples that have to navigate love and being with someone that is another culture, another background, another religion, something that may be considered taboo, and the family and everyone has to kind of figure out how to make this work. It's considered forbidden because these people normally aren't on the same track. They're normally not connected. They may have to convert when it comes to religious reasons. So that's really the point of this reality show, and they follow these couples. So that's it now for Linsa and Chris. To me, it seems more the same, but we're getting a little bit more involved into their dynamic. And Linsa doesn't mix words. She's a very vocal when it comes to her belief system and kind of what she wants. I don't know. I wonder if Chris might be more easily converted. Not really sure. He seems to love and respect his religion, but to me, Linsa is more diehard on what she wants and what she believes. And that's when they talk to her one-on-one. I don't know what it's going to carry into the actual life situation or not. We'll see what goes forward when it comes to that. But I have heard of couples having two different religions, but again, the family kind of sets the standard, and his parents aren't really having it. And since her parents don't even know, I'm pretty sure they won't be having that either. Especially a lot of times they do want the male of the house to, if you're the leader of the house, you have to actually lead in that the dominant religion or whatnot. And a lot of times they do want the woman to follow, or again, like Chris's mother said before, a house that is divided cannot stand. Okay, Ashley Muhammad. Muhammad shows up to his sister-in-law's birthday party at back in Ashley's hometown. Family's not really feeling him. The sister is accused of calling him a terrorist. She continues to deny that she ever said that. She said, at least I'm not calling him a terrorist. I never said that he was a terrorist. There's like a whole issue about, did she say this thing or not? But the family's basically saying she did. Her sister Ashley is really upset with her for saying this about her husband. But they're very surprised when Muhammad shows up in his traditional clothing for the sister's birthday party. The sister is not very fond of him. And the floor is open, as is there something you need to say, Muhammad? What's up? And he just states his piece, and he confronts the family on how they treat him. And then they have like this whole thing confronting him back, saying, well, she should be able to do what she wants, you're too controlling to her. And he's like, well, this is my belief system and my culture, you guys don't really know everything because you're not used to this is how it goes, and I'm not trying to control her. She has a choice whether she wants to convert or not. And she's just in the middle looking. She's like, she didn't want to really say much. She wants to let him state his piece, but she also did not know how to handle it, did not know what to say. And for her to be that submissive is kind of, I think, something that they believe is okay, for you to be that submissive and quiet. And one of the questions they asked him was, would you allow her to wear like booty shorts and tank tops and stuff? And he's like, no, she's not going to be wearing this. If she doesn't obey me, he uses the word obey, which really triggers everyone. And the family really grills him and says, she has the right to dress however she wants. But he's like, she's not going to be half naked because she's not permitted for no one's supposed to see her but me. So it's a back and forth, and Muhammad does sound like partially he's trying to be open. Again, this young man's only 30, not sure how long he's been in the U.S., and she's 31. And I think he's trying to reconcile the cultures. He's trying to respect them as well as uphold his culture and be more open to kind of what they're saying. But I agree with him with I think in any culture, I'm not going to be like, sure, my wife can walk around in booty shorts and a bra if she wants. Who would do that? Like, to me, they're not making any sense. Like, they're saying it's a free country. She should be able to do what she wants, and that's what they believe. Okay, that's true. I know it's a free country, but you still would respect your spouse. I mean, and I've heard this argument a lot before on 90 Day, where even when we go back to Lindsay and Chris, it's supposed to be a choice. You don't have to be forced into it. I said I was dating someone that was thinking about going back to the Muslim faith and the Muslim belief system, I'll say that. And they told me that they were permitted to marry people that were Christians, and that they kind of have been doing things like that. I know the goal is to convert, but they, especially with the women, the men, it seemed to give the women the leeway to make that choice and decision. It's up to them whether they want to convert. But I do feel like it's a lot of pressure because Ashley's been saying she's going to convert and she hasn't fully gone through with it. Can she change her mind? I'm sure, but she should not have led him on for so long into thinking that she was going to convert, because that will be a big issue in their marriage and could be a big resentment if she leads him on all this time just to say, you know what, I'm not converting. But he's kind of got himself into it. He's completely married to this person and has a child with her. So they are bonded. Again, though, like I think in the first episode, he stated, he could have more than one wife if he was financially able to do so. It's an open possibility for him. So, I mean, if he has a wife that remains, I think her belief system is Christian, I'm not sure how much he follows it, then, he can still go get him another wife that is Muslim. And they asked him why didn't he just do that, and he said, well, he just ended up falling in love with her and he chose her. So this is just how the situation went. It would have been easier that way, but I chose to be with her. I guess he's trying to state his love for her or whatnot, which is a great thing. But I don't know. The family's just doing too much to me. I think they're being a little bit too volatile, and they need to kind of open up a little bit more to him. I feel like he's not a mean guy. He's still young. He's still learning. He's still trying to mix the two cultures together and still be open to both sides while respecting his own. So I think they should give him a little bit of leeway. But he calls them out, and I'm proud that he was able to stand up to them. But I do feel like Ashley may have to start stepping up too and defending her husband. I mean, she kind of has him hanging out there to dry. And I understand her not knowing what to do. That's a crazy situation, but at some point she's gonna have to figure out what to do. When he's not there, she does take up for him pretty well, but I think they were supposed to be trying to put on a united front. She was wearing some of the traditional clothing, but she doesn't have her head covered, so there was some type of unity there, but they're acting as if he's forcing her to do all these things, but that's not really the case. She does have a lot of control in the relationship, as women do. The men take the lead, but the women do have a lot of say so. We just kind of let our men feel like, they have all the say so, but that's not the case. Sorry, guys, that's kind of what we do. I've yet to get a chance to do that yet, but I would like to. But this is what I know and what I've seen when it comes to relationships. But I do wish them the best because they're married. It's very complicated because it is forbidden. And me as a Christian, it's like, well, we try to get people to be Christians, and I know Muslims, they try to get the people to be Muslims, and so do we convert people? We leave them be? How do we do this, especially when you have traditional parents involved and everybody's so close to their parents and family? So we go to Elmer and Lindsay. Same thing. She's over at Elmer's house celebrating Hanukkah, and he is an Orthodox Jew. There's so much the woman will have to give up. She'll now have to wear a wig for the rest of her life to keep her head covered at all times. There's different things that are going on. I'm sorry, I got the wrong couple. Let's go to Lori and Eli. My bad. That's Lori and Eli that is celebrating Hanukkah. My bad, guys. That's the Orthodox Jewish lifestyle. And, her mom does a FaceTime in the middle of them having one of the Hanukkah dinners. But they're lighting the menorah. She's like, this is the biggest menorah I've ever seen. She gets to kind of see up close more about the Jewish lifestyle. She's been taking classes. And, the mom is probably one of the more harsh people, but she's saying, it's been difficult, the classes. They ask her how it's going. And, mom is like, well, you have to take this seriously. The woman is a very important part of the scenario of the Jewish lifestyle. And she's like not sure if they're ever going to really accept her and see that she's working at it. Eli does take up for her and says she's been doing a lot of hard work. She's doing a lot trying to learn. And he's showing her love, which is wonderful. This is what you're supposed to do for your partner. They're frying up the Lockies, eating Lockies and enjoying this holiday. But then these issues come through. Her mom calls and, she's like, are you coming for Christmas? It's like, well, no. And then after they hang up, the parents are nice to her on FaceTime, but they're like, she needs to get used to this because she's not going to be celebrating Christmas anymore. This is going to be the Jewish lifestyle. There's no compromise with Eli's family. I mean, they're not really compromising, and they act as if they're worried that Lori's not going to be able to pull this off. And she's wondering to herself, will they ever really accept her at the end of the day? It's a lot. I really feel for Lori. She's in a position where she could go either way. It's her choice. So let's see what goes up ahead for her. I do wish her the best because she can leave this situation if she wants to. While Ashley and Muhammad are married, so can't easily walk out of that, and they have a kid. All right, now let's get to Elmer and Lindsay. They actually talk with another Amish couple. She's trying to get some sense into Elmer's head. But it seems like she said it backfires because she basically says the other couple had the same scenario as they did. But she says the woman involved says you have to, nurture your Amish husband. It's harder. You have to be more patient with them. He also had an issue with porn and the technology and having all that access. So that was an issue for him as well. You got to try to be patient and give them time. And, he was giving advice and she was giving advice, which was great. But Lindsay's like, I have no time for this. My baby's coming. And, I'm just going to put these parental controls on this phone and computer because I don't have time for him trying to figure this out. And the lady says, from the other couples, like, you have to build them up like a parent. So it seems like it's almost like a parent-child scenario. Sadly, this is how it is. If you marry someone from the Amish world, they have to relearn and redo things in different ways. Lying is an issue for them. They would always lie so they wouldn't get in trouble because they didn't meet the perfection that their lifestyle said that they should be. So they should do this regularly anyway. And she says, from the other couple, they have to learn how to be honest with their spouse, with their wife, with their partner. That's something that they need to work on as Amish men. And finally, they go see the baby in the ultrasound. It's amazing. It's technology he's never seen before. He gets to see his own baby in the womb. It's a beautiful thing. And he starts talking about how he didn't know about sex till he started reading romance novels and then watching the animals. And this is how he found out. And he's sad that his family can't enjoy this time with him. His dad said he'd rather have him had a funeral versus actually leaving the Amish lifestyle, which is sad. These two are married. They have a kid on the way. I wish them all the best. And I hope he's able to assimilate properly and be a good dad and be a good husband. So that's it, guys, for Forbidden Love. All the best. God bless. Email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com for your thoughts, comments. We'll be talking to you later. More on Forbidden Love and other programs, faith, love, and trends.